okay, I'm going to reserve your life for 2 hours. Hey, Smart Mouthy, and today we're going to talk more about friendship, because I'm struggling. Like, I have researched the different stages of friendship and want to discuss them with you because I'm having issues. I don't know. I've always had issues, right? Don't answer that. So, 5 stages of friendship. So I wrote them down because I looked them up. I watched a couple of videos here on YouTube, and I just find it fascinating how we can unpack the different levels of friendship. But I'm actually going to add one, which is the one I'm struggling with. And let me just go through them. So the stages of friendship goes, number 1, you know of them. Like, you have an idea of them, whether it's a coworker that you've passed in the hallway, whether it's somebody on social media you found out lived in your neighborhood, it's maybe a friend of a friend on social media that you keep kind of seeing them come up in their feed. You might know of them because they may be a friend of a neighbor's, like if you're over at a neighbor's place and you see them a couple of times, so that you know of them. An acquaintance is somebody you've engaged with them in friendly small talk. So, for example, I mentioned like a friend of a neighbor's. So my neighbor, Tamina, hey Tamina, what's up? She has parties and get together. She has a swimming pool, so I might go over there. And she has a friend, Martha, that I love engaging with. Like, we will talk whenever I see Martha over there, whether it's a Christmas party or a swim party or whatever, I will engage with her. Most of the time it's small talk and, little things, whether we have found little common ground through our neighbor, our mutual friend. But I don't seek her out then otherwise. Whenever she's over there, I'm super friendly and I love to talk to her. She's super intelligent and smart, but I don't seek her out then otherwise. And so I think that is really an acquaintance. Number 3, casual friends. It's somebody who you enjoy their company, but you don't engage deeply with them. So maybe it's like a friend's spouse who you interact with more frequently, but you don't get super intimate with in regard to conversations, maybe. Or you remember when I defined the actual definition of friendship? You have to have an emotional safety. You have to feel safe with them. And I'm not talking about like she's about to stab you or he's about to stab you. It's a vulnerability of safety. And so that would be like casual friends that you don't really open up too vulnerably with. Then you have number 4, close friends, and you have acceptance of trust, you have commitment, and it's more of that like inner circle. A client and I were talking about like these different circles of friends, and you have like the inner circle, like that small tight community that you always contact. Maybe if something big happens in your life, that's your go-to person. So you may have 2 or 3, depending on if you're an introvert or extrovert, you may have 2 or 3 in your inner circle. And then you might have like another ring outside of that, which are close friends, but you don't always immediately engage with, whether it's a big life event, good or bad, or anything that you want to confide in them. You don't always go out of that first inner circle. So I think that's really interesting. And number 5, you have your forever friends. And I think that's what I was identifying in that inner circle. It's your forever friend, your long-term friend, your deepest connections. You share the most secrets with, and you are the most comfortable. You are your true self with that person. So your inner circle friends are the ones you feel the most comfortable to let down your guard, to show your true self, kind of more behind the scenes, intimate. Like, there are very few people in my life that see me with no makeup, see me in my pajamas, see me on a day off where I don't have my best energy. So those are the closest friends, or the forever friends, and I have such a trouble with that all blurring, because for me, so number 6 for me is client friends. And I talked in the last video where Valerie and I transitioned from client stylist to besties. And that was very unique. For me, the line blurs frequently, and it's more emotional. And if you remember in the first video of this month, of Friendship Month, I talk about my requirements of I have requirements. If you want to be my friend, it has to be a win-win situation. And so I spoke on that briefly. But for me, the clients are not a win-win situation. I find myself more emotionally attached to them than they are vice versa to me. Because it blurs between my business mindset and a connection mindset. And the blur is because they have been coming to me since the beginning of time. All of these people have been coming to me. They know me intimately. I know them intimately, but yet it's still a business. So that's where it gets blurry. We know each other. We've been through divorces, deaths, job losses, illnesses, crazy things. And I feel differently towards them than they do me. And I hate, because I'm running a business and uphold a certain image, I hate disappointing them. And so for me, that is the difference. I don't like disappointing them because I have a business, versus they're not my friend. They come and go in my life and there's no consequence. So they can make an appointment with me, they can cancel an appointment with me, they can, do whatever they want. But I have consequence. If they call me and really, really want to get in a certain day and I don't have it and I have to tell them no, I lose sleep. I lose sleep over that. And it crushes me to my core. And I feel like I have let down my very best friend. And that is the difference. I have consequences, hours and hours and hours, that affect me mentally, that affect me emotionally, affects my gut. Like, I can work myself into a frenzy because I've disappointed them. And that's this weird overlay between a friend and a business. And upholding those relationships, I think it's harder on me than it is for them. And they don't know that. They know now, I guess, but it's so much more involved on my end of the relationship. And over the last few years, I really have to decide, I've really been struggling with, are those friends? Are those the relationships that I've cultivated to be close friends? And I think the answer really is no. There's still a business side of the element. There's still the exchange of finances transferred. There's a service, and then there's a financial gain. And so that's another layer of complication within, a client friend. But I've known these people so long. I have known these people 12, 15, 17, 20 years. I know all of their children's names. I know all of their grandkids' names. I know all of their dogs' names. I know their sisters' names. I know where their sister lives. I know where their brother lives. I know their brother's, crazy wife. I know the stories of, their husbands being crazy, their jobs being crazy, their in-laws. I know intimate details, and vice versa. I really do share. I was telling a friend the other day, I was telling a client the other day, she was here, and we were talking about friendship, and I said, my job is so weird. It's like a girlfriend comes in, we have great conversation, you let me play with your hair, and I get weirdly paid afterward. And it's weird because I feel like we've just had a best friend sleepover. Like you've come, like, where's the wine? Like, we should have wine and pizza and let me play with your hair, let me do your makeup, but then I get paid afterwards. Like, this is really still my job. It still really is a service industry job. I service you. You call me and you request a moment of my life. And that's exactly what it is. You've called me up and said, Holly, I'm going to reserve your life for 2 hours. I'm going to reserve your life for 2 hours. And I'm going to make you do my hair. It's a really weird job. And I struggle with that. I struggle with that boundary. A lot has changed since 2020. And here, this is 2022, in case we need a reference, there is going to be a massive transition. I have been doing hair for 22 years and professionally, I guess, for 21, but I have to make a change and I have to look towards an exit plan. I cannot do this forever. It has impacted my health, mentally, emotionally, physically, and in order to transition out, I have to make some big moves. And the agony of leaving these people in my life, the agony of transitioning to retirement, I have, a 5-year plan. So it's not going to happen overnight, but I have to start making these big changes that are going to impact my friends. It's kept me up at night. I literally lose sleep. I will give myself stomach pains. I will give myself, it affects my skin sometimes. Like it'll break me out, the stress, the worry, because I'm so self-conscious of honoring that they've been in my life for 20 something years and having to shift my business and continuing to remind myself it's not personal, it's business. It's not personal, it's business. It's not personal, it's business. They're personal. Like, these relationships are massively personal. And I guess I, have to remember at the end of the day, there is a line. I worry about them, but they don't worry about me. And I have to remember that, they may think about me, during the time they'll, like if somebody makes an appointment every 6 weeks, during that time, for the majority of my clients, I don't hear from them unless they need to reschedule a appointment or something. But a few of them will maybe text me a photo of a hair product and say, hey, have you ever heard of this? Is this okay? Or they might text me a funny meme of a hairstylist. Or a mermaid, or because they know whatever it is I like, they might see something and then text me, and I love that means so much, and that is so rewarding to me. But at the end of the day, I think about them during that 6 week time more than they think about me. I'm constantly reevaluating their next service, their next color, what more can I do for them, how do I encourage them to change. I always try to continue to evolve my client's style and maybe push them a little bit. So I'm constantly looking up new videos, new hairstyles, thinking of who this would look good on, and I got a new hair color, who could I put that on? And I'm looking through my client list, and I'm like, and even if something really traumatic has happened, like I've had several clients go through divorce recently, and I will text them randomly, hey, thinking about you, how you doing? Like, what's going on? Are you okay? Like, what's the status? Is X, Y, and Z happening? Or do you need help? Do you, what can I help you? I'm thinking about you. Like, all of these things are constantly filtering through my head times 74 clients. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, I have to go to work. I'll see you later. Bye. And so you just watched that clip, and I just finished saying, oh, I have to go to work. My very first client came in crying, and she had just found out a day ago her brother died. And he had been sick, but it still kind of was quick and a little unexpected. And shifting gears immediately from when she pulls up and me, meeting her at the door with excitement. I'm glad you're here. It's great to see you. Can't wait to, talk with you. And her approaching the door with tears in her eyes, and me shifting. I have to shift immediately to empathy, compassion, and love, and stood there with her. I did not rush the appointment. We spoke for 15 minutes, and honoring that time and honoring what she needed and listening and being an open heart and letting her be comfortable in my space. That particular client had been coming for 15 years, maybe 16. And she said to me, this was the first of her sibling losses. And, I have a sibling, and just sharing that experience for that 15 minutes with her and connecting to her as a person seemed very friendly. And so it's so hard when my job blurs those lines where I love so deeply with all of my clients and want to connect with them. And they trust me with their emotions. They trust me with their whole life. They're so vulnerable with me, and it's such a respect. I have such a respect to honor them. But at the end of the day, it's still a business. And that's really hard for me. It's getting harder and harder as the years go by, and my clients going through changes and me going through changes. And I don't know, life is weird. Life is funny. And I had just had, 15 minutes of rambling about my clients, and then, immediately start work, and just energy shifts. Every client who walks in the door, the energy shifts. And I am something else to each person. I am something exactly that person needs. but it's not about me. Remember how I said it has to be a win-win situation to be my friend? I am constantly shifting to support them, so it's not equal. And that's this weird dynamic of blurring the line between client and friendship. So anyway, I just wanted to come back on and share. I'm waiting for my next client, waiting at the window, watching for you.
I was going to film, but clearly Paul is practicing drums. Okay, I'll finish up my friendship talk in a little bit.
Hey, so it's the next day. I wanted to just finish up this vlog, getting ready to open my hair salon today. Or actually I have to open in Full House, which you've seen me do a million times because it's what I do. So, but I just wanted to finish off this vlog to tell you what a privilege it is. Like, this is such a specialty career. Like, it is insane to me how successful I have been to sustain these relationships. And I honor them so deeply that, like I've said, it keeps me up at night. And remembering at the end of the day that it is not fulfilling. It's at this point, it's more draining than fulfilling. And I have to seek fulfillment of my own emotions in someone else outside of a financial exchange. And I'm so grateful to have, transitioned at least one or two clients in my life as true friendships, and such a supportive spouse. My husband is my number one biggest equal. Like, if we talk about win-win situation, we are constantly like toggling back and forth between support. And it is such an equal win-win situation. And I'm so grateful to have finally found him, to be 40 freaking years. And having a few other just people, that are not clients. I always will need a person who is not a client in my life. And I'm so grateful to have those few people in my life that are not clients. And that's very, very important, to have separate actual friends. Unfortunately, and I'll do a whole separate video on this, where because at the end of the day, I am a true introvert, and we'll talk about that in a different video, my job drains me, that then makes me a terrible friend. I'm a terrible friend, because when I'm done at work, I'm done. Anyway, so I'll wrap up this vlog. Thank you for hanging out with me and listening to my complicated and beautiful career / weird friendships here at the hair salon. And I will see you in another video talking about introverts and friendships. See you later, bye.
I could have done my hair before I started that video.